Hi guys, welcome back. Today we will be reviewing the brand new Phanteks Enthoo Evolv X case, which I've got in front of me here. So this is a case that I purchased a couple of days ago. I've only got around to building the case today and we have finished, so take a look at that. So this is a case that I have highly anticipated. I've upgraded from the previous version, which I've got just over here. So this is the Phanteks Enthoo Evolv Tempered Glass Edition. So this is the non-X, the previous iteration. Prior to this case I had the non-tempered glass edition, which I had in anthracite grey. I prefer the black, as you can see, so I've purchased the previous version in black and the new one also in black. I think it just gives it that stealth look. So what we're going to be talking about in this video is just the general my general thoughts of the case and also the new features that it has. I have had all iterations of the Enthoo Evolv. I am a big Phanteks fan, and I just think that this case is lovely. So I'll be covering all the new features and what I like and what I don't like about it. No case is perfect, but this is the case that fits my needs well. So it's the best case that's out on the market that fits my requirements. So one of the major changes with this case is the tempered glass panel, which now has hinges, so you can just open it up like so. So there's hinges just on the top, bottom there, and you can actually lift the door up and out as well. So what the door has is these mounting points here and here. So when the door's closed, you can take the front panel off and put in two screws, like thumb screws there and there, and what it does is it holds the door in place during transportation. Which is a nice feature. It came delivered with the two thumb screws installed, but I don't think the screws are necessary once you've finished the build and the case is sitting on your desk or on your floor or whatever. So let's take a closer look inside. So this is my system build. I won't go into too much detail as to what components I've got, but if you guys are interested I can do a separate video on that. But for now I'll just be focusing on the case itself. So one of the changes is this LED lighting strip which runs across the bottom there, which I do like the look of. Also you've got LED strips on the front, so if you look at the front it just sort of shines through the sides and onto the back just there. So if you take a look around the back, you've got these LED strips which are sort of glued onto the back of the front plate, and what that does is it reduces the need for cable management. You can purchase RGB lighting strips separately. However, this just removes the need for cables and cable management, which is nice. One of the other new features is this little plastic panel here, which basically slides backwards and forwards like so, and the purpose of it is just to hold the power cable for the graphics card in place, although it's just quite loose. I mean, the previous model of the Enthoo Evolv had this plastic or rubber grommet which the cable came through, and let me see if I can show you. So it's just this plastic grommet, and in my opinion I prefer the grommet. It's just there's no need to over design something like this, and the plastic panel looks a little bit tacky, and in my opinion the plastic grommet fits its purpose perfectly. But a minor gripe, some other people might prefer it. So we've got a cutout on the bottom here, which is for a radiator if you do wish to install a water cooling system. There are these plastic panels on the back here, which is to help with cable management. So these move from side to side, basically to minimize the spaces between the cable and, you know, the edge just there. But in practicality, I've just found it a little bit, you know, difficult to push them to the left, simply because the cables are, they just push against it. If you look at this power cable there, it's pushing against it, so it's just not possible to push it any further left without like having uncomfortable bends in the cables. On the top here we've got space for fans and radiators if you wish to install water cooling. I'm not into water cooling, at least not anymore. I'm happy with my Noctua air cooler, which does the job just perfectly. There is space on the top here for an additional ITX motherboard for a dual system setup, and that's again not something that I'm interested in, but maybe something for other people. The fans now have white blades in the center. There is one 140mm fan in the back and another two 140mm fans at the front. So let's take a closer look at the front. So in terms of connectivity, there are some minor changes. So we've now got an additional USB-C port, which is a nice addition. We've got two RGB lighting buttons as well, which are new, and the standard on and off button on the top, which is the same as the previous version. So the button on the right, you can scroll through the different buttons, the different colors. So we've got purple, red, yellow, green, teal, blue, dark blue, etc. So the left button, when you push it, it changes to a multicolored design. So it does look really nice, but I've just found that while I'm busy working, the moving lights can become slightly distracting. So I prefer the solid lighting. I usually just leave it on white. So something that they could have done is they could have had the option to switch it off. Like I said, sometimes the lighting can be a little distracting, but the solid lighting is fine and it does look nice. I'm not someone who tends to purchase RGB lighting separately. This case has just come with it, but as it's included, it looks nice and I'm not complaining about that. So another change to the front is that the slats on the sides here are wider. Also, the front plate is further away from the fans to give it additional airflow. So basically, the new version, the airflow has been improved. However, aesthetically, I've got to say that I do prefer the previous version. Let me just show you here. So with the previous version, the slats are smaller and it just fills the edges much better. So it's not just the sides, but it's also the top and the bottom. The front plate really fits the case very well. And aesthetically, I prefer the look of the front. of the previous version. However, I cannot argue with the fact that this case will perform better in terms of cooling, and it does not look bad by any means, so I'm happy either way. A lot of people have critiqued the previous version for its airflow performance. It's not something that I had issues with. However, the airflow has definitely been improved with this model. So another change on the top is the grille design. So it's sort of like a mesh design on either side, which does look nice. Let's take a look at the back panel. So the back panel opens up in the same way as the other side with the hinges, and this is where there are a lot of changes. So there's now these two metal cable management doors which you can route your cables behind, which just gives it that more aesthetic look. So this is something that I really do welcome, as you can see through the door when it's closed, so cable management becomes more of a priority. So let me open these doors up so you can take a look. So I'm not the biggest guru in terms of cable management, as you can tell, but if you do have the time and patience to really organize these cables properly, then that is something that you can do, and it would look absolutely stunning. But the doors are very practical. Basically you can connect all the cables up and hide everything behind the doors. I love the build quality of this case. So these doors are made out of metal, which is really nice. I just think that these little plastic clips, I'm afraid that they're going to snap off at some point. They do feel a little bit weak. But let's close these doors up. Not the easiest, one-handed. There we are. Okay, so we've got my SSDs mounted like so, which I do like because it's out on display. However, these SSD caddies do not come included with the case, so that's something I was not aware of when I purchased the case. These caddies actually came from my previous case, which were included when I purchased it. So I am lucky that the caddies have not changed. They are exactly the same and compatible with this case. But I just feel that Phanteks should have included them. Everyone's using SSD these days, and to not include them and expect your customers to purchase them separately is, unexpected, to say the least. But I am lucky that I've got two of them. But I think a lot of customers purchasing this case would expect that to be included. They were included in the previous case, so why would they not be included in the new version? So not everyone has the previous version, so if you do buy it and expect caddies and don't get them, you might have to then order them, wait another few days before you can start your build, which can be frustrating. So overall, good thoughts about the case. I do really love the design. I'm a big Phanteks fan. I have discussed a few gripes, but they are little gripes indeed. I think this is the best case in the market for my needs, at least, and lovely design, which is important to me. It looks good. Another thing that's important to me is the use of high quality materials, which Phanteks are known for. So we've got tempered glass panels on either side. We've got 3mm, aluminium panels on the top and front. Steel chassis, which is solid and sturdy. It's just a good quality case. So not a cheap case. I purchased this for £210 GBP UK price. I think it's been priced at $200 in the US. Not a cheap case by any means, but something that I think is worth it. So let me know what your thoughts are. Are you going to purchase this case? What would you rather have instead? What color would you buy? And yeah, anything you want to ask me, just put it down in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.